Hi, this is Judah Mantell from SceneForge Studio, the all-in-one platform that allows indie creators and studios to get started with real-time virtual production and previs in an easy, fast, fun, and affordable way. Now, this video is the third in a series of devlogs showcasing the feature set and development behind SceneForge, and this video will focus on the rendering capabilities of SceneForge specifically for still images of scenes. So let's jump right in. Now, in this scene here, we have a cyclorama, a kind of a corner backdrop wall, a little carpet object, we have a couple of lights, and of course the camera over here. I'm going to open up the viewfinder so you can see what the camera sees. And something I want to showcase is that when bringing in these primitive objects, such as these cycloramas or cubes and things like that, you can actually change the material. So for this carpet, for example, I'm going to change the material to something that's a little more subtle than this very heavy red carpet. So when you go to change the material, included is a huge library of over 240 fully PBR, physically based rendered materials for these objects. And this menu is broken down into a bunch of different categories relating to the type of material. So for example, I'm going to go to carpet, because that's what this is, and I'm going to choose this. Now you can see the scale is very high, so I'm going to turn it to 2. There we go. Now if we go into shoot mode, we can adjust the scene so we have everything in view. Now, of course, we need something to actually photograph. So to do that, I'm going to import a couch 3D model. Now, to import models, we open up the library, click Import, and select the file we want to import. Now here I have a couch.gltf file that includes all textures. This was downloaded from Sketchfab. I'm going to click Open, and you see we have this import menu. Now, the import menu of SceneForge is designed to basically work with as many 3D models as is by default. But of course, if you wanted to adjust what gets imported, such as materials, normals, and things like that, you have the option to do so. Now, of course, depending on the poly count and vert count of the models you bring in, the SceneForge editor might slow down, so it's important to keep that in mind. That being said, there's a lot of optimization tricks in place that should keep that from happening. That's something that I'm going to go over in a future video. So now we have our couch imported. I'm going to drag it in and position it right about here. Now this couch has a highly reflective surface, almost as if the fabric was covered in one of those like plastic wraps. So it doesn't look very comfortable, but when turned on reflections, it does look pretty nice. Now the way Retrace Reflections work in SceneForge is that it's actually a combination of ray traced and screen space reflections. And what that means is that you get the performance and speed of screen space reflections, but the realism and accuracy of ray trace reflection. So it's kind of a combo there. It is not RTX, so it doesn't rely on the new NVIDIA graphics cards. And what that means is that it is highly performant and will work on pretty much any device. And something that is important for the realism is ambient occlusion. Now what that means is it's actually the contact shadows between two surfaces that are touching, even if there is a lot of light there. So for example, if I go to post-processing settings and mess with the ambient occlusion, you'll see that the crevices between the couch cushions are shadowed in a much more realistic way based on the intensity of the ambient occlusion effect. I'm going to leave it like this. I think it looks pretty good. Now I'm going to go into shoot mode and try taking a picture. Now the philosophy behind the way SceneForge works is that you set up your scenes in the way you would set them up if they were actually being photographed in real life. So for example, in addition to these floating fictional lights like the panel lights over here, we have realistic, types of lighting like this box light. I can bring in a spotlight if I wanted to, and adjust them as if they were actually being adjusted on set. For now, this looks pretty good, but it's important to note that the cameras as well are based off of real cameras. The goal is to adjust these settings as if this couch was really in front of me. So these settings actually look pretty good. I'm going to increase the focus distance and aperture so it's completely in focus. And maybe even add some sensor noise, vignette, and a little bit of barrel distortion just to kind of replicate the way a lens actually warps the image a bit. Of course, if you're looking for something very flat and clear, you can turn these settings off. But for this example, I'm going to leave them on. Now all I have to do now is take a snapshot this way, which makes the image visible in the storyboard editor. Or if you want a high-res render, you can go to Render View, change the resolution. I'm going to change it to 4K and just click Export Still Frame. Now this takes a second and then it will open up the file in your project. Now this looks good as is, right? We kind of have a scene here, but for product renders, for example, we don't really want these background objects. We kind of just want the product in focus. So to do that, I'm going to remove the carpet, plain and simple, and I'm actually going to change the material of this backdrop to something completely white. So it's kind of like a thumbnail image on a store page. So to do that, we're going to go to Change Material and go to Colors. Now built in, there's a bunch of different colors for film production. So we have a chroma key object for green screen and blue screen. We have all black and we have all white. Now something you'll notice is that even though these materials have the flat color, there's still shading and lights that it's responding to. So this might look pretty good as is, but you still get the shadowing and light surfaces that we don't really want for this purpose. So what I'm going to do is change the material from white lit to white unlit. And we also have green unlit and blue unlit. Now green is a good example for the way this works. You can see that no matter how I move the camera and no matter how I adjust the lights, only the objects without unlit materials get influenced by that lighting. So if I wanted to get a green screen shot that can then be easily keyed out in a video editing program, this is a good way to do it. Or I can go to white unlit, and no matter where the camera is, only this object has the lighting applied to it. So what I can do now is adjust the aspect ratio to something a little more square, like this. I can adjust the angle. And because the backdrop does not respond to light, I can actually use the ambient light of the scene to kind of increase the realism. So if I adjust the time of day, you can see that without messing with the backdrop, we have a really nice looking directional light on the object. I'm going to leave it just like that. So now all I have to do is just snap a photo. And we have this image, and this could be used in anything we want. And because the background is completely unlit with completely flat lighting, we can go into Photoshop, click the magic wand tool, and just delete the background entirely in 2 seconds, so we'll get that transparent background. And with that, thank you so much for watching. I hope that was a good overview of one of the many ways you can use SceneForge in your creative workflow. As always, if you're interested, subscribe to this YouTube channel for more information as it becomes available, and definitely join the waitlist if you're interested in using it. Thank you so much.